This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, protesters blocked the entrance to the Ravensdown Fertiliser Works in Ravensbourne this morning. A Queenstown conference venue reopens for business in the shadow of COVID-19. And a Dunedin artist has released a book using her late husband's words alongside her pictures. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Daryl Baser. Protesters with makeshift towers blocked the entrance to the Ravensdown fertiliser plant in Dunedin this morning. About 15 activists gathered outside the company's Ravensbourne plant about 9 a.m, with police arriving at the scene shortly after. A small but passionate group of activists blocked the entrance to Ravensdown's plant in Ravensbourne this morning. Protesters say alleged human rights abuses in the Western Sahara cast a long shadow over New Zealand's agri-chemical industry.
We're here today speaking on behalf of the Sahrawi people, the indigenous people of Western Sahara who have had their land stolen and occupied. There's 170,000 of them in refugee camps. Ravensdown and Balance are two of three companies in the world that still import blood phosphate.
The protesters blocked the entrances and made makeshift wooden structures to make it harder for police to move them on. Spillick Harris says more than 100 countries have stopped importing phosphate from the Western Sahara, and Ravensdown is dragging the chain.
All other countries, including Australia, have said no to this. Recently we were told by Greg Campbell that they were going to stop importing any more blood phosphate. However, that turned out not to be true.
In response to protesters' claims, Ravensdown Group Communications Manager Gareth Richards says they're expecting a shipment of phosphate rock from the Western Sahara, which he says the UN designates as sovereignty undecided. Richards says it's hugely disappointing to see a handful of localised protesters continuing to willfully ignore the other side of the story. He says the shipment is due to arrive later next week, depending on tides and unloading times. Protesters agreed to remove their structures around midday. In Dunedin, The South Today. Police will get back on their bikes following the success of an e-bike trial earlier this year. In February, Dunedin was one of 4 centres around the country where officers took to the streets on electric bikes as part of a road safety trial. The test was so successful it'll be wheeled out around the country. Police say that the trial gave staff a new level of accessibility and skills in advanced cycling. The COVID-19 outbreak delayed fully evaluating the bikes, but the results have been good enough to expand trials around more districts. Police say the bicycles will not be intended to be used as pursuit vehicles. In a milestone for Queenstown's economic recovery, the first post-lockdown conference began last week. Nearly 30 business owners from across the country attended the 2-day conference at the Crowne Plaza Hotel.
Queenstown's first conference for out-of-towners since the lockdown. About 30 business owners from across the country attended a 2-day conference at the resort's Crowne Plaza Hotel on Friday. The hotel had originally planned to reopen at the start of next month, but are happy to reopen earlier to host this gathering, especially as the conference is all about growing medium-sized businesses.
This piece of business came up as a perfect opportunity for us to welcome people back into town. They're all business owners that are very passionate about their business and developing after COVID, and also about buying local and supporting the New Zealand economy.
The conference is for businesses with an annual turnover of at least $3 million, and it represents a wide spectrum, including forestry, wine, real estate and IT. Those attending agree it's good to meet face-to-face while discussing their business developments.
It's a real pleasure and a privilege because, first of all, they're fantastic businesses from all around New Zealand. They're also amazing people with personalities and with families at home and teams at home that are doing great work. And so it's a real privilege to be with them. And also, of course, doing it face-to-face is in a wonderful setting like this is just a great treat.
Exciting getting back to the way we used to do it, and We like meeting new people and like-minded people, so it's always interesting conversation.
Crown Plaza Queenstown General Manager Stuart Mason says the hotel staff are also very happy to be back at work.
We were closed for 12 weeks, so a tough 12 weeks, and it's great to get the team together, and everybody's ecstatic to be serving customers again. It's fantastic.
In Queenstown, the South Today.
Arrowtown took a giant step towards normality with the Arrow Sounds Music Festival being held on Saturday. Hundreds of people showed up in scarves and jackets for the free event with performances including Dillian Boshia and Ollie McLean of the Train Surfers. Overall, more than a dozen acts performed over 12 hours in the pubs and venues in and around Arrowtown's Buckingham Street. After her husband took his own life in 2018, Dunedin artist Keziah Field stumbled across a letter he wrote to her before he died. She's now published a book illustrating the letter, which he expressed his gratitude for her support during his depression.
Dunedin artist Keziah Field has published a book where she illustrates the text of a letter her husband wrote before he died from suicide.
It was a letter I found about 6 weeks after he died on his computer, and it had 4 Keziah on it, and I obviously felt quite nervous about opening it. And I discovered a letter that he'd written to me, thanking me for looking after him with his depression, because he suffered from depression most of his life. And it was sort of, he was just grateful for what I did for him, and etc, etc. And it was quite a, because it was quite raw after he died, and then finding the letter within seconds, it just gave me so much gratification that I'd done something for him,
She says some of the proceeds of the sale of the book will go towards suicide prevention charities.
And then I thought I wanted to give back somehow, because obviously our suicide statistics are horrendous. I thought I'd donate some of the earnings from the book to Suicide Prevention Life Matters here in Dunedin.
She says her daughter Olive also got a chance to contribute to the book.
And because he was Māori, his ancestors, he goes back to where he's from the Hokianga, so he's Ngāpuhi. So she illustrated Hunia up in the sky over the Hokianga harbour with his ancestors, so that's Huni there, and that's his ancestors. And we sing a waiata, well, Hunia and Olive used to sing a waiata together at tangis and funerals in the marae and the Hokianga Te Araha. So we just put the first verse of that song at the bottom. So that's a really powerful image.
The book, For Keziah by Keziah, is available online, as well as at Dunedin's Life Matters Suicide Prevention Trust in Albion Place near the Centre City Mall. In Dunedin, the South Today.
And still to come on the South Today, could an iconic New Zealand restaurant brand be set to reopen in Dunedin's railway station? And we check in with the New Zealand Film Festival, which is showcasing some southern attractions. See you after the break.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
Wrens are Otago's painting, tiling and plastering experts. Offering a free measure and quote, Wrens is a name you can trust to get the job done right. Call Wrens today on 477 9384 or visit wrens.co.nz.
Do you know Youth Grow in North East Valley? It's an awesome plant nursery where young people can work and learn life skills. You can now order your vegetable seedlings, herbs, bulbs and shrubs over the phone or by email. Either pick up your order on Norwood Street in North East Valley or they can deliver to you. Look for Youth Grow Garden Centre on Facebook or visit youthgrow.org.nz. Happy gardening!
Heaven Sent Pet Cremations knows that losing a pet is like losing a family member, and we have many special ways for you to keep their memory dear to your heart. From caskets, remembrance pendants to remembrance fairs. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today. If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر.
No mai no, welcome back. The owner of New Zealand's Cobb & Co brand says he'd love Dunedin's restaurant to reopen, but is waiting to hear from the City Council about the lease. The restaurant at Dunedin's railway station was opened after a multi-million-dollar refit in 2017, and at its height employed up to 30 staff. The lease was cancelled after the restaurant went into liquidation and directors walked away during the lockdown. New Zealand's Cobb & Co franchise holder Ben Gower says he's been trying to get it open again, but says the council hasn't been responsive so far. The Dunedin City Council says they've been approached about the lease but haven't made a decision yet. This weekend's Festival of Outdoor Films in the Central Lakes District is set to feature a documentary about a West Coast track. The film covers the challenges faced in making the Pike River mountain bike memorial track in the Paparoa Ranges.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Blasting away rock while making a 10-kilometre cycling track which was built high up in the Paparoa Mountains as a memorial to the 29 workers killed in the Pike River mine disaster. Track builder Tom Woodward has filmed many of the challenges they encountered while making the trail.
It shows some of the footage of the storms that came in and hit us. Not everything though, it doesn't show the lightning, but it shows all the trees coming down, all the slips coming down. It shows some of the aftermath of the slips, but yeah, it gives you a taste of what it was like to be out there.
He says the regular West Coast storms and mud were hard on his delicate film equipment.
It was really difficult on my cameras, all the gear. I had to drag it and have it in waterproof bags, and I just take it out every now and again when the in the gaps in between the weather.
It took a team of dedicated mountain bike enthusiasts and professional trail builders 3 years to build the track, and Woodward is pleased to have documented their efforts.
It was just an epic project building this track. It's going to be there for a long time, and it'll probably become quite well known, so I think people will be interested in the difficulties that went into making it.
The resultant film, called Building a $12 Million Bike Track, is set to screen next weekend at the New Zealand Mountain Film and Book Festival in Queenstown and Wanaka. In Queenstown, the South Today.
Within weeks of spreading worldwide, COVID-19 practically wiped the tourism industry from the planet. Destinations and businesses centred around the industry saw their trade evaporate. People who work with natural resources and sell products at local markets have lost 100% of their international visitor trade. Sticking to her knitting was a lucrative money spinner for Judy Barton, but that was before COVID-19. She says she would regularly sell all the woolen blankets she could knit in a week at the Queenstown market, although she says she did take some convincing that it was a good idea.
All right, I'll go for one Saturday. Well, I never looked back. Came home empty, and now I fill my little car up packed to the gunnels and come home empty.
The Pawa shell souvenir trade in New Zealand was all but wiped out by the closure of New Zealand's borders to overseas tourists. However, Essie Stephen is fighting to maintain a local trade.
I'm putting handles on cups, making home mugs, like people just for mugs at home, and I'm going into more of oven dishes. Not that I've got them out today due to the weather.
Stephen says when tourism stopped, her business pretty much stopped too.
Drastically, yeah. So it was building all summer for me because it was my first full summer. I used to be working at the station, and then it stopped, pretty much.
But she says all isn't lost, as she put a notice on a Facebook group for New Zealand businesses and says it's helping her to maintain some trade, describing the positive response as overwhelming. In Wanaka, the South Today. And after the break on the South Today, we were at the table with Rural Women New Zealand in the Central Lakes District, and we have a look at the weather. Are the frosts set to continue? Find out after the break.
Every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
Oh mate, I'm thinking about getting a new ute.
Heaven Sent Pet Cremations knows that losing a pet is like losing a family member, and we have many special ways for you to keep their memory dear to your heart. From caskets, remembrance pendants to remembrance spheres. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today. Wrens are Otago's painting, tiling and plastering experts. Offering a free measure and quote, Wrens is a name you can trust to get the job done right. Call Wrens today on 477 9384 or visit wrens.co.nz.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Do you know Youth Grow in North East Valley? It's an awesome plant nursery where young people can work and learn life skills. You can now order your vegetable seedlings, herbs, bulbs and shrubs over the phone or by email. Either pick up your order on Norwood Street in North East Valley or they can deliver to you. Look for Youth Grow Garden Centre on Facebook or visit youthgrow.org.nz. Happy gardening!
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Bowel cancer is the second highest cause of cancer death in New Zealand.
And New Zealand's got a higher rate of bowel cancer than many other Western countries.
Because it's one of those areas of the body that we don't talk about often enough.
It is one of those silent killers almost, that if it strikes and if you develop symptoms, sometimes it's too late.
So it's a major issue.
Thanks for staying with us. Glenorchy locals had a chance to get together and have a chat while enjoying a free lunch at the weekend. Held to celebrate the end of the COVID-19 lockdown, the meal was put on by the local branch of Rural Women New Zealand.
The village hall in Glenorchy was packed on Sunday for a midwinter solstice long lunch organised by the local branch of Rural Women New Zealand.
We felt like it would be nice for everybody to have a reason to come together. Something really nice about a shared meal, you know, so we've got some food, we've opened the doors to everybody, just come and help yourself and yeah, just hang out, have a chat with people you might not have seen for a while post-lockdown. Everybody's kind of coming out of their shell.
The free lunch was supplied through donations from the public, plus Mrs Wooley's General Store, Bold Peak Lodge, as well as beer for the adults from the Glenorchy Brew Company. Kate Scott says the idea for the lunch came out of a series of Zoom meetings during the COVID-19 lockdown.
We started talking about what we could do to celebrate the end of lockdown, if and when that should occur, which luckily it has. And we came up with this whole burst your bubble idea, and we got quite carried away with thoughts of potentially having zorbs and all sorts of carry on. But anyway, as it's happened, it's a bit more low key than that. But it's actually it's been lovely. Actually, it's been really nice seeing. You know, there's a few people here that I haven't seen for a while, and it's great.
The local rural women's organisation usually puts on a big fundraising midwinter dinner, but that's been cancelled in recognition of the hardships some businesses are currently under. In Glenorchy, the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. Protesters blocked the entrance to the Ravensdown fertiliser works in Ravensbourne this morning with a large wooden structure. A Queenstown conference venue reopens for business in the shadow of COVID-19, with 30 businesses attending the first event. And a Dunedin artist has released a book using her late husband's words alongside her pictures as part of her grieving process. Time now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's Otago Day Times. We welcome Mr. Craig Page. G'day.
Evening, Daryl. We've got more on the much publicised ORC spat that seems to be getting ORC plenty of headlines at the moment. Of course, the Chairwoman Marion Hobbs, there's an attempt by 9 members to get her ousted as Chairwoman of the ORC. She's vowed to fight on with her role, and she's had another crack at them again today. Really, she's released her Chairwoman's report ahead of Wednesday's ORC meeting, and she's really put the boot in again to the ORC, saying that they are continuing to ignore national policy statements, particularly in regard to water, and reviews of its poor planning as well. She's warning that if they don't follow protocol and national protocol, then they risk turning into another Canterbury Council, where they had to bring of course commissioners in to run that as well. 9 of the councillors I mentioned are seeking a meeting to replace Hobbs as chair, and that's going to be held early next month. Deputy Chairman Michael Laws, he's one of those councillors that is keen to get him removed, but he's adamant it's about personality. He doesn't think she's the right fit for the role, and it's not about policy. So either way, it's going to be shaping as a pretty tense meeting on Wednesday, I think.
It's amazing to see how much that's the National versus Labour sort of the red-blue sort of divide.
Yeah, you could say there's a bit of that going on, the farming brigade and the non-farming brigade, but she's adamant at it. Well, no, Michael Laws is adamant that isn't the case, but yeah, I think people will make their own mind up over that in coming weeks. A bit of a sad story out of the south today. A fatal farming accident involving a tractor has left 1 man dead, another injured. We're still getting some details about that. It sounds like it's a young man. I'll hopefully get some more details together before tomorrow's paper hits the road. Travel pages, we're keeping it local, profiling a section of the Alps to Ocean cycle trail from Lake Ohau to Otamatata. Interesting read, and they're really popular. That trail has become, as many of the cycle trails are around now, and a great time to explore what's in your backyard, I guess, when we can't go far.
Indeed.
And finally, on the sporting front, we take a closer look at the National Basketball League. Starts tomorrow, and we have a look at how the Nuggets are shaping. They begin their first matches, I think, Wednesday and Thursday, a match each of those nights. So it's going to be interesting and nice to see a bit of basketball back on our TVs as well.
Most definitely. Cool. All that and more in tomorrow's ODT. Thanks, Craig. Time now for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Starting with the southern view, some of Dunedin's frosty streets were still icy around 4 o'clock this afternoon. Looking at the situation, cloud will come and go this week, but the rain will stay away. Expect cold temperatures with light winds expected all week. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport are looking at clear blue skies and 16 degrees. Across to the northeast, Nelson and Blenheim can expect a cloudy day and 16. Moving down to Canterbury, it'll be a bit cloudy for most places here. Kokoda heads for 14, while Christchurch and Ashburton both aim for 12 degrees. Into the southern towns, plan for light winds with some cloud. The Catlins and Balclutha should both get to 9, with 10 degrees for Lumsden and Gore. 10 degrees for Lumsden, and Gore you're set to be the warmest place here, heading for 11 degrees. Popping across to central Otago, you can expect light winds and cloudy skies for all in this area, but it will be cold, particularly in Wanaka and Queenstown, where your highs set to be just 5 degrees. Alexandria you go one better, heading for 6 degrees, and once again Siano is the place to be over here, aiming for a high of 10 degrees. To the northern towns, on the coast at Tiamaru and Oamaru can expect light easterly winds and cloudy skies, with 9 degree highs for you both. Inland, those in Twizel and Omarama can both plan for light winds and some cloud. Twizel should get to 6, with 5 for you in Omarama. In Dunedin it'll be fine tonight, with frosts inland with an overnight low of 0. Sunny periods at first tomorrow, with cloud increasing during the day. Tomorrow's high should be 9 degrees with a low of 5. It'll be mostly cloudy and cold on Wednesday, with northeast winds, a high of 8 and a low of 4 degrees. And in Invercargill, frosty tonight with an overnight low of -2 degrees. Mostly fine and sunny tomorrow with scattered high cloud and northerly winds. The high is due to be 12 and the low 5. Thick high cloud arrives on Wednesday with light winds and a high of 10 with a low of 5 degrees. And that's all from the South Today team for this Monday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.